Hello and welcome to another episode of Creative Conversations. And I'm your host, Briana Elmore. And today we have another amazing guest, someone that is extremely important to me. This is one of my best friends in the world, my homegirl. She know all my secrets too. I keep bringing people on here to have my secrets. She know all my secrets. She's a scholar, an amazing friend, family woman, but most importantly, she's a scholar. She's all these different things, but most importantly, she is addicted to coffee, and one of your favorite coffee addicts you'll probably ever meet. No, I'm just kidding. But without further ado, this is one of my best friends, Amarriah Valentine.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for showing up and being here. So I love bringing on people from first of all, most of the guests, I know them in real life. Okay. So that's just the deal. But I specifically enjoy bringing on people who are like my best friends. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be a time with, I haven't had a family member on here yet, but you guys are family as well. So it's all the same to me. And I'm super excited to have you here. And I appreciate y'all like really coming out of y'all's like little shell to be a little more creative with me for an hour. And I appreciate you guys being willing to be shared with the Creative Conversations audience. So thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we're going to get into it. The biggest reason why I wanted you to come on here is because, and this is what the topic of the podcast will be about. Well, loosely, y'all, because we've been talking. So loosely, this will be about pivoting and, just kind of like learning to take whatever is given to you and figuring out how that impacts you and how you want to operate with these changes on the table, and pick and choose how you want to continue to carry your purpose out. And I have Amarriah on here because she is one of the most determined people I know in life. And she has very, very, very good discipline. Okay. And she has extremely good discipline. And even she will embrace a good old pivot if it's necessary.
Okay.
And like, she has been able to also pivot herself in a way that continues to hold the integrity of everything that she wanted to do. And I thought that this was something. Now, she has a healthcare medical background, but I think that there's, as we already talked about earlier in this episode, there's lessons to be taken from everybody in every story in every situation, and it can be applied. And I felt like she is one of the best pivoters that I know. Like, she can pivot a situation. She's like, all right, well, we're gonna have to roll. And I always am inspired by hearing her tenacity to go towards the goals that she has for herself, but also to realize, like, okay, I need to pivot because this is no longer serving to keep forcing this. Keep forcing this particular path. I believe I can get to this path. I can get to the same same goal with doing something else, and going on a detour or whatever, you know what I mean? And figuring out different ways to do that. So we're going to get into the story of it and why I think you're such a good pivoter. But before that, I'm very curious to know, how do you define pivot in the sense that we do?
Pivot is just, you had your eyes on one thing, or you had an idea of something that you wanted to do, wanted to pursue, wanted to, nurture, and you also found something else. And pivot is also looking at a couple of things at the same time. So my definition of it is just like, always exploring, so that, at any point you have the ability to choose what you want to do. You can make your decisions, and there's nothing wrong with exploring options. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's my definition of pivot.
I love it. I think to piggyback, I think all those things I definitely are in alignment with what I also consider pivoting to be. But the only thing I would add to that is I feel like for me, whenever it's me making that decision to pivot off of something, because it's like I think we both can relate. If we have goals, that's what we're trying to do. I'm actually not trying to do something outside of that. And I think also in the creative sense, when you're creating something and it's coming from such an intimate place within you, it's a desire within you, but also you feel like it's purpose tied to your creativity, your career, whatever you're pursuing. It's like, I'm not coming off of this. This is like, I set this goal and I have to do it. And this is the way I have to go about it. This is the way that I planned for it to go, which is also a callback to me saying, I hate when I do the whole checklist and then we still don't get here. I understand that's life, but it frustrates me so bad. And so it just does, because it's like most of that sacrifice I did not even want to do. I didn't want to do that. That wasn't fun to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not fun. It's not fun. It's not something I wanted to do. But like, so for me, I think pivoting is granting yourself some permission to do things differently than you initially planned on doing them. It's like, because like I need to give myself that permission. You know what I mean? I'm not asking nobody for permission, but I feel like sometimes you need that permission or that confirmation to let this thing go. Because sometimes we're so focused on the process, looking how we think it's supposed to look. And then it's just like, so I'm married to the idea that this is how that's supposed to go. And it's not going to work unless I do it this way. And so when I decide to make that pivot, I feel like that's me giving myself permission to take a step back, decompress, go about it in a different way, and handle it that way, because this way is not working. You are continuously hitting a wall. It's the same wall. It's the same wall. You hit the same wall in the same spot at the same intensity. Why are you doing this? And then, but you're mad. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but you're still mad, pissed. And I get it, because I'll be the main one pissed. So about it. But it's like, okay, when I decide to pivot, it's like, okay, I gotta back up off of it and come at it a little bit differently. But I think that when I decide to make and you can help me out and see if you feel the same way. I feel like when I decide to pivot, I be feeling like I failed in some way because I couldn't do what I already planned for it to be. I couldn't execute at that level, or for whatever reason. It may not even mean I'm bad at what I'm doing. It just, I've counted as internally, I've processed it as a fail, and like I messed up.
I've heard somewhere like it's okay to grieve what didn't become or what didn't happen. So like let's say you had you understood that you're gonna do XYZ for years. This is going to be your career path, or this is going to be how you thought your life would go, which is oftentimes the notion that we get, is that, you know, once I do this, everything's going to fall into place. And you have the permission to grieve what didn't fall into place, while also exploring other options. And sometimes it does feel like a fail. Sometimes it does feel like it just fell to pieces. And that's okay too, but really that's just grieving what you thought was going to happen that just didn't happen for whatever reason. And although, you know, that's not the best feeling to feel, it's a valid feeling, but also you're pivoting for some type of reason. Like you weren't happy about where you were for some type of reason. And so we can't stay there.
Yeah.
we can't stay there. So
It's like
we
for some
gotta,
reason it wasn't sustainable here. It's like I
right.
cannot
Some
live in
reason,
this type of condition. Something got to
yeah,
change.
that wasn't nourishing you, or that just wasn't getting you where you need to go fast enough,
Hmm.
or you were miserable there.
Yeah.
And so, you're working yourself to the bone for what? You know,
Yeah.
um, for things to possibly be away. So yeah, I've been there before.
Yeah.
I definitely get those feelings, and it is what it is, but we moving forward. We moving forward. And
We have to. We have
hey.
to what?
Pivot. You still
Pivot.
gotta make the
Pivot right
move.
on out of that because it's like, okay, so we can sit here, we can try to figure this out. We can sit
Right.
here and wallow in the fact that this didn't work out, or we can
Mhm.
take this situation and move forward in a way that honors what we want to do anyway, right? Honors our purpose, but at the same time doesn't compromise our
Who
being
you
in
are.
some type of
Right.
way. You know what I mean? And I think that,
Mhm.
like I said, especially gearing it even through the gaze of creativity, it's real hard. You know what I mean?
It
Or like
is.
you'll get stuff together and it's like you'll have
Mhm.
a certain, for me, it's so many facets of creativity, but for me, y'all know I mainly speak from stories. Somebody that tells stories, somebody that writes stories and creates different narratives and things like that. It's real hard because you'll have something in it. It is like you can have stuff outlined, you can have the characters developed and fleshed
Right.
through, and for whatever reason, when you're writing, you have a whole list of ways that you can roll with it. But when you're writing, it's like this story that feels that doesn't feel genuine
Yeah.
when I'm writing. You know what I mean? Like this exchange doesn't feel right. They wouldn't say that in this moment, even though that's what I wanted them to say initially.
Right.
It's
Right.
like,
Right.
okay,
Right.
I gotta plan something else out. Or you got writer's block. You can only take this to so far, and you got a page for.
Mhm.
So it's like this isn't gonna work either. This is not hitting on anything. Or you have to be collaborative, and you got even less cylinders firing off. You know what I mean? Like, or you
Right.
have
Yeah.
a certain world that you have to stay in, and you may not have the freedom to make a complete change to the story. You know what I mean? You may not
Right.
have that freedom. You may be able to rewrite it. Who knows? But it's like, it's always a series of pivots. And I think that for me, what I am currently working through is just being okay with pivoting and giving myself the grace and permission and to grieve and do whatever is necessary for the pivot in the pivot, but also
Mhm.
to do it at all. And just like,
Right.
it's okay. And it's okay if it takes, we have deadlines, we like to respect them, right? But like, it's okay if it takes a little longer for this to
It
make
takes
sense. It's
time.
okay if
Right.
it takes a little bit longer to get to it. Or it's like, okay, if you're grabbing this these experiences in life and in your actual creativity and your art, it's okay if you're collecting extra activities and extra experiences to make it more
Along the way.
authentic and make it hit a little bit better and make it more true to yourself.
Mhm. Very
Mhm.
true. Very true.
Um, so my next question is, do you mind sharing a big pivot moment or a story about having to pivot in your life in like just kind of like your process that you went through it
Yeah.
and all that stuff?
Yeah. So, I have always thought that, or was working on the pathway of becoming a doctor, going to medical school, and I've been working on that for pretty extensive time. And a lot of things have happened over the last since we graduated. Let's just say that a lot. I'm not even gonna put a
None of your
number on
business.
that,
None of
okay?
your business how
But a
long it's
lot
been.
of things have happened since then. I've evolved as a person. I've moved, lived in different states, different cities, um, lost some family members. So the person that I was making this decision in 2011 or 2016 was
Or
not is
even
not the same person.
2018. Because
in 2018,
because let's be clear,
2020.
honey, she got degrees. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Is not the I'm not gonna say I'm not the same person I am today, but a lot of things have changed. A lot of the things that I am evaluating for my life is different. It's just different now. And so I was like, after personal things happen and things like that, I'm just like, you know what if I try to do something else? Like what if I give myself permission to explore other options. I've been at school for an extensive period of time, studying for exams for an extensive period of time, and really hit a burnout wall, hit a big wall with after the pandemic and things like that. That I was just like, you know what? I think I want to do something else. I don't know what that is just yet, but this is not feeling right to me anymore. I was losing so much at the time that I was just like, what am I doing this for? Like,
Yeah.
what is all the days of studying in the hole? Although, that is necessary to get to where you need to go. What is this bringing me right now?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to pivot into tech. So I have been looking into different avenues of things like that. My mind is still very open to the medical field. I'll still be exploring options there, but I don't think I ever really gave myself permission to look into other fields extensively. I always knew there were other
Mhm.
things out there, but I was just like, you know what, girl, just stick on what you already decided you were going to do.
Mhm.
So yeah, I've been kind of looking into that, and also giving myself permission to, if I do want to be in the medical area, um, get involved in med tech,
Mhm.
um, possibly start my own little business or things that I want to do if I become a doctor, things that I want to do outside of that,
Yeah.
or just for fun. Like I said, the coding is really interesting to me. That's something that I would just want to do, like to fuel my interest. I wasn't really giving myself enough permission to even explore interests that I had because I was putting so much into that.